How to Stop Reacting and Stay Calm in Any Situation. Written and published by Truth of Life. The Power of Presence, Mastering the Moment. In the vast tapestry of esoteric wisdom, one of the most profound teachings is the power of presence. To be fully present in each moment is to step into a space beyond time, where the eternal now unfolds in its purest form. Presence is more than just physical awareness. It is the total alignment of body, mind, and spirit with the immediate experience of life. This alignment offers the key to mastering calmness in any situation, because presence frees us from the distractions of the past and the anxieties of the future. Drawing from Gnostic and Rosicrucian teachings, being present is akin to awakening the divine within, where consciousness resides not in the realm of reactive emotions, but in the pure clarity of awareness. The reason why most people react emotionally and instinctively in challenging situations is deeply rooted in both neurological and spiritual layers of existence. On a biological level, our brains are wired for survival. The amygdala, which governs our fight or flight response, triggers emotional reactions before we can fully process what is happening. However, this instinctual response is compounded by our past experiences, traumas, and subconscious conditioning. Spiritually, we are often disconnected from our higher self, which leads to a reactive state governed by ego and fear rather than by wisdom and clarity. In Gnostic thought, the world of illusion, the material realm, is filled with distractions that keep us trapped in cycles of reaction. Thus, our emotional responses are often not true reflections of the present moment, but echoes of unresolved wounds or karmic patterns. Anchoring oneself in the present moment is an ancient mystical practice that has been emphasized in esoteric traditions for centuries. Being present is not a passive state. It is an active engagement with the now, which requires discipline and awareness. One of the most effective ways to ground yourself in the present is through conscious breath control, a practice that has been central to mystical traditions from Eastern pranayama to Western esoteric schools. Breath is the bridge between the conscious and subconscious mind, the key to controlling not only the body but also the subtle energy fields that govern our emotions. By focusing on the rhythm of your breath, you anchor your awareness in the present, calming the nervous system and quieting the mind's habitual chatter. With each breath, you deepen your connection to the now, where calmness naturally arises, untouched by external disturbances. Esoteric traditions also teach the importance of focus as a way to fully inhabit the present moment. In Gnostic practices, focus is not merely mental concentration but a way of engaging all levels of being, physical, emotional, and spiritual, in the experience at hand. By focusing on a single point, whether it be your breath, a sensation in your body, or the energy of the space around you, you narrow the field of awareness to the present, cutting through distractions and thoughts that arise from the past or future. The mystics often spoke of this practice as a form of meditation, where the mind, instead of wandering, becomes as still and clear as a calm lake, reflecting only the purity of the present moment. This stillness is the foundation of true presence, where reactions are no longer governed by fear or conditioning, but by a conscious choice rooted in higher awareness. Presence also has a powerful spiritual dimension, which transcends the physical plane and taps into the eternal. In the Gnostic tradition, presence is a return to the divine state of unity with the Source, where one is no longer bound by the illusions of time and separation. When you are fully present, you are in direct contact with the divine spark within, the aspect of your being that is infinite and untouched by the transient dramas of the material world. From this state of presence, you can navigate any situation with grace and calm, because you are no longer reacting to the illusions of fear and uncertainty. Instead, you are responding from a place of deep spiritual knowing, where all things are seen as part of the greater whole. This spiritual perspective allows you to maintain calmness, not as a forced effort, but as a natural expression of your true nature. Mastering presence is therefore the foundation of emotional control and spiritual growth. It frees you from the cycles of unconscious reaction and allows you to step into a state of conscious response, where each action is aligned with your highest self. By cultivating presence, you not only develop the ability to remain calm in the face of challenges, but you also deepen your connection to the divine source of wisdom and peace that resides within. In this state of presence, you become a living embodiment of stillness and clarity, radiating calmness in every situation. This mastery of the moment is the first step toward mastering your emotions, your mind, and ultimately, your life. Through presence, you transcend the reactive patterns that have shaped your past and step into the freedom of conscious, intentional living, where calmness is not something you strive for, but something you naturally embody. The observer self, detaching from emotional turmoil. At the core of many esoteric and mystical traditions lies the concept of the observer self, an aspect of consciousness that watches the unfolding of life without becoming entangled in it. This observer state, also known as the silent witness, or higher self, in different traditions, represents a profound level of awareness that transcends emotional turbulence and reaction. Gnostic and Rosicrucian teachings emphasize that, as long as we identify fully with the ego, the emotional body, or the mind, we remain trapped in cycles of reaction and suffering. However, by cultivating the ability to witness emotions and experiences from the vantage point of the observer self, we liberate ourselves from the grip of these reactions, gaining the clarity and stillness that allows for mastery of the self. The observer self is not a distant or indifferent part of us, but rather a deeper layer of awareness that remains calm and centered regardless of what the outer world presents. When we experience anger, fear, or sadness, these emotions typically consume our attention and dictate our behavior. Yet, through esoteric practices, we can learn to step back and simply observe these emotional currents, recognizing them as temporary states that pass through our consciousness, much like clouds passing through the sky. The sky itself, our deeper awareness, remains unaffected. In this way, emotions become like waves on the surface of the ocean, while the depths of the ocean, representing the observer self, remain still and undisturbed. By cultivating this perspective, we detach from the automatic identification with emotions, realizing that they are not who we are, but transient states that we can choose to engage with or not. To awaken the observer self requires dedicated inner work, often through meditation and mindfulness practices, which are central to Gnostic and mystical traditions. One of the most effective techniques is simply to sit in stillness, bringing your attention to the breath or the sensations in your body, while allowing emotions and thoughts to arise without judgment or attachment. When anger, frustration, or anxiety appears, instead of reacting or suppressing these feelings, simply notice them. In doing so, you disidentify from the emotion, creating a space between you, the observer, and the feeling itself. Visualization can also be a powerful tool in this process. You might imagine yourself standing on a shore, watching the waves of your emotions rise and fall without being swept away by them. These practices are more than mental exercises. They engage the soul in the work of inner detachment, drawing upon the ancient wisdom that teaches us that we are not our emotions but the awareness that experiences them. In esoteric traditions, the spiritual significance of detachment goes far beyond emotional mastery. It is the doorway to higher consciousness and liberation. The Gnostic path, for example, emphasizes that human beings are often trapped in the material world, identified with the physical body and the lower emotional and mental states. This identification keeps us bound to the cycles of suffering, fear, and desire, which are the hallmarks of the lower self. The teachings suggest that by observing and detaching from these states, we begin to ascend toward a higher state of awareness, where the soul aligns with its divine nature. This spiritual detachment is not about rejecting emotions or the physical world but about transcending them, seeing them for what they are, fleeting experiences that are part of the soul's journey but not the essence of the soul itself. In this state of detachment, we reclaim our power from the external world and begin to operate from a place of inner sovereignty. Detachment also allows us to navigate life with a greater sense of compassion and wisdom. When we are no longer reactive to the emotions of others, we become less prone to conflict, misunderstanding, and fear-based responses. Instead, we can hold space for others, recognizing their emotional struggles without being drawn into them. This detachment does not mean coldness or indifference, but rather a deepened ability to see clearly, to respond from love and clarity rather than from fear or anger. The Rosicrucian tradition, in particular, speaks of the cultivation of inner equilibrium as a form of spiritual alchemy, where the practitioner transforms the reactive, lower emotional states into higher states of love, understanding, and wisdom. By standing in the space of the observer self, we become alchemists of our own consciousness, transmuting the raw materials of emotion into spiritual gold. Ultimately, the practice of detachment and the cultivation of the observer self lead to profound inner freedom. When you learn to witness your emotions without becoming ensnared by them, you reclaim your power. No longer are you at the mercy of external events, other people's opinions, or the whims of your emotional body. Instead, you begin to operate from a place of calmness and clarity, responding to life rather than reacting to it. This is the essence of spiritual mastery, being able to navigate the challenges of life with grace, poise, and inner strength. Detachment from emotional turmoil does not make us passive or disconnected. Rather, it allows us to engage with life fully, but from a higher perspective, where we are no longer bound by fear or ego-driven reactions. By mastering the art of observing rather than reacting, you step into a state of true spiritual power. The observer self becomes your guide, leading you through life with a steady hand, even in the face of chaos and uncertainty. As you deepen your connection to this inner witness, you will find that the storms of life, whether internal or external, can no longer shake your foundation. You become anchored in the eternal stillness of your soul, from which all wisdom and peace flow. In this state, calmness is not something you practice, it becomes who you are. This mastery over emotional turbulence is not only a path to personal liberation but also a profound contribution to the collective, as you radiate peace and balance into a world that so often thrives on reaction and conflict. The observer self is the key to this higher state of being, and its cultivation opens the door to the deepest realms of spiritual transformation. Emotional alchemy, transforming reactive energy. In the esoteric traditions, emotions are viewed not merely as fleeting states of mind, but as powerful energies that flow through the human system. These energies, when left unchecked, can bind us to the reactive patterns of the lower self, keeping us locked in cycles of anger, fear, and frustration. However, the ancient teachings of alchemy, as practiced by Rosicrucians, Gnostics, and other mystical schools, offer a profound alternative. They teach that emotions, like base metals, can be transmuted into something far more refined and precious. This process of emotional alchemy allows us to take the raw energy of our reactions and transform them into higher states of consciousness, leading us closer to the spiritual ideal of balance, wisdom, and peace. The science and mysticism of emotional energy is a cornerstone of this transformative process. In both ancient and modern esoteric teachings, emotions are understood as vibrational frequencies that influence not only our mind and body but also the subtle energy fields that surround us. Negative emotions like anger, fear, and jealousy are seen as denser, lower vibration energies, which can cloud the mind, disrupt the body's natural energy flow, and create disharmony in our relationships and environment. In contrast, emotions such as love, joy, and compassion vibrate at higher frequencies and have the power to elevate the spirit and harmonize the energy body. Emotional alchemy is the art of transmuting these lower, reactive emotions into higher, refined states, thereby aligning ourselves with the higher vibrational frequencies of peace, clarity, and inner strength. Alchemy of the self is deeply symbolic and practical, much like the ancient process of transforming lead into gold. The lead represents our base instincts and unrefined emotions, those automatic reactions that arise in the heat of a moment. These emotions, while intense, are not inherently bad. They are simply raw energy waiting to be transformed. The gold in this process is emotional mastery, the ability to respond to life's challenges with wisdom and grace, rather than reacting impulsively. The alchemical transformation begins with awareness. Just as the ancient alchemist would begin by recognizing the materials they were working with, the emotional alchemist begins by acknowledging the emotion that arises, without judgment. This conscious awareness allows us to take the first step in transforming the energy, rather than being controlled by it. The key to emotional alchemy lies in the principle of transmutation, a concept that resonates through both mystical and psychological teachings. Transmutation is not the suppression or denial of emotion. It is the conscious process of shifting the energy of an emotion from one state to another. For example, when anger arises, it can be seen as a burst of fiery energy. Instead of letting that fire consume you, emotional alchemy teaches you to channel that energy into something constructive. This might involve transforming the anger into a fierce determination to create positive change, or it might mean using the energy of anger to fuel a deep inner inquiry into the source of your frustration. In either case, the energy is not wasted on reactionary behavior. It is transmuted into a higher form that serves your growth rather than diminishing your spirit. Practical tools for emotional mastery are abundant in esoteric traditions, many of which focus on the use of meditation, visualization, and breathwork to facilitate this process of transformation. One technique drawn from mystical teachings is to visualize the emotion as a form of energy, perhaps as a flame, a storm cloud, or a swirling vortex. As you breathe deeply and focus on this image, visualize it changing form. For instance, you might see the flame of anger cooling and turning into a glowing ember of calm resolve, or you might watch the storm cloud of fear dissolve into clear skies of understanding. This visualization process helps to redirect the emotional energy, guiding it from a chaotic or destructive state into one that is harmonious and empowering. The breath, which connects the physical and spiritual realms, is an essential part of this process, as it allows the body to release tension and return to a state of balance. Another important aspect of emotional alchemy is learning to engage with emotions on a vibrational level. In the esoteric teachings, it is understood that emotions do not exist in isolation. They are connected to the overall vibrational state of our being. Lower emotions tend to arise when we are vibrating at lower frequencies, often due to stress, fear, or disconnection from our true self. By consciously raising our vibration, we can prevent these lower emotions from taking hold and instead cultivate states of peace, clarity, and joy. Techniques for raising your vibration include practices such as chanting mantras, focusing on gratitude, and engaging in acts of kindness. These practices work by attuning your energy to higher frequencies, which naturally dissolve the grip of lower emotions, allowing you to maintain calmness and clarity even in the face of adversity. The process of emotional alchemy is not linear, nor is it always easy. Like the ancient alchemists who toiled for years in their laboratories, seeking to perfect the transmutation of base metals, the work of transforming emotions requires patience, practice, and a deep commitment to self-awareness. There will be times when emotions seem overwhelming, and the temptation to react will be strong. However, each time you choose to pause, breathe, and engage in the process of transmutation, you strengthen your ability to navigate emotional challenges with grace. Over time, this practice becomes a natural part of your response to life, allowing you to remain centered and composed in even the most challenging situations. Emotional alchemy also has profound spiritual implications. In the Gnostic and Rosicrucian traditions, emotions are seen as part of the human experience that, when properly understood and transmuted, can lead us closer to the divine. Negative emotions are not something to be feared or rejected. They are aspects of the self that hold the potential for spiritual growth. Through the process of emotional transmutation, we learn to embrace all aspects of our being, transforming our lower tendencies into higher virtues. This is the essence of the alchemical motto, solve et coagula, meaning to dissolve and recombine. We dissolve the lower, reactive aspects of the self and recombine them into a more refined, integrated whole. This spiritual alchemy leads to greater wisdom, compassion, and inner strength, as we learn to harness the power of our emotions rather than being controlled by them. Emotional alchemy offers a powerful path to mastering calmness and resilience in the face of life's challenges. By transforming the raw energy of our emotions into higher states of awareness and action, we gain control over our reactions and cultivate a sense of inner peace that is unshakable. This practice is not about denying or suppressing emotions but about embracing them as part of our spiritual journey, using their energy to propel us toward greater wisdom and harmony. Through the ancient art of emotional transmutation, we can achieve the alchemical goal of emotional mastery, transforming not only our personal experience but also our relationships and the world around us. Understanding emotional triggers, breaking free from conditioning. Emotional triggers are the hidden gateways to understanding our inner world. They offer us an opportunity to explore the roots of our automatic reactions, often revealing the unresolved aspects of our psyche. In esoteric teachings, the nature of triggers is deeply connected to both psychological conditioning and spiritual development. From a mystical perspective, triggers are not random. They are echoes of past experiences, often connected to early childhood imprints, karmic lessons, or even ancestral and collective memory. In understanding the origin of emotional triggers, we begin to see that they are not just personal reactions but part of a much larger spiritual process that invites us to break free from patterns of conditioning and reclaim our higher selves. The nature of emotional triggers can be understood as both a psychological and spiritual phenomenon. On a psychological level, triggers often stem from early life experiences where certain emotions, such as fear, shame, or anger, were first imprinted. These experiences create pathways in the brain that become automatic responses when similar situations arise in the present. For example, if someone grew up in an environment where their feelings were dismissed, they may be triggered by situations in adulthood where they perceive that they are not being heard or validated. This trigger is not just a reaction to the present moment but a resurfacing of unresolved emotions from the past. From a spiritual perspective, triggers also reflect karmic patterns. Esoteric traditions suggest that we carry imprints from past lives, unresolved lessons or emotional experiences that have not yet been integrated into our soul's journey. These karmic imprints manifest as emotional triggers in this lifetime, offering us the opportunity to face and heal them. Identifying emotional triggers requires deep introspection and self-awareness. In esoteric traditions, this process is often compared to the ancient practice of shadow work, where the hidden aspects of the psyche are brought into the light of consciousness. Shadow work is not about rejecting the parts of ourselves that we find uncomfortable or unpleasant. Rather, it is about recognizing that these shadow aspects hold the keys to our spiritual growth. Emotional triggers are part of this shadow, arising from the parts of ourselves that we have repressed or disowned. By bringing these triggers into awareness, we begin the process of integrating the shadow and dissolving the unconscious patterns that govern our reactions. One powerful method for uncovering emotional triggers is through guided meditation and visualization. In esoteric practice, meditations are used not only to calm the mind but also to dive into the depths of the subconscious, where the roots of emotional triggers lie. A common meditation for this purpose involves visualizing a situation where you were emotionally triggered, then allowing yourself to feel the emotions that arise without judgment. As you sit with these emotions, you can begin to trace them back to their origins. Where in your life have you felt this way before? What are the beliefs or fears underlying the reaction? By engaging in this form of inner inquiry, you bring the trigger into conscious awareness, which is the first step in breaking free from it. This process mirrors the ancient spiritual practices of self-purification, where the mystic would seek to cleanse the soul of the lower tendencies that kept them bound to the material realm. Breaking free of emotional conditioning is a process that involves both psychological reprogramming and spiritual transmutation. In modern psychology, it is understood that the brain can be rewired through practices such as cognitive behavioral techniques and neuroplasticity exercises. However, esoteric traditions offer an additional layer of insight, focusing on the spiritual dimension of this transformation. In these teachings, the process of breaking free from conditioning is seen as an act of spiritual liberation. The conditioning that creates emotional triggers is often linked to the ego and the illusion of separation. When we are triggered, we are reacting from a place of fear of being hurt, rejected, or misunderstood. This fear is rooted in the belief that we are separate from others and from the divine. By dissolving these triggers, we are essentially dissolving the illusion of separation, allowing us to experience life from a higher perspective, where we recognize our inherent connection to all that is. One method for dissolving old triggers, which combines both mystical and psychological insights, is the practice of reprogramming the subconscious mind. This involves identifying the beliefs that underlie your emotional triggers and replacing them with new, empowering beliefs. For example, if you are triggered by situations where you feel ignored, the underlying belief might be, "I am not important," or "my voice doesn't matter." To reprogram this belief, you would consciously affirm a new belief such as, "I am worthy of being heard," or "my voice is valuable." This process is not about suppressing the old belief but about consciously choosing a new pattern of thought that aligns with your higher self. In esoteric traditions, this practice is often supported by meditative rituals, where the individual connects with their higher consciousness and sets an intention to release the old patterns that no longer serve them. Esoteric teachings also emphasize the importance of rituals in the process of breaking free from emotional conditioning. Rituals have long been used in mystical traditions as a way to symbolically mark the transition from one state of consciousness to another. When it comes to dissolving emotional triggers, creating personal rituals can be a powerful way to signal to the subconscious mind that a transformation is taking place. This might involve lighting a candle, saying an affirmation, or engaging in a visualization where you see the trigger dissolving into light. By engaging the senses and the imagination in these rituals, you create a powerful energetic shift that helps to break the old conditioning at a deep level. The final piece in breaking free from conditioning is the practice of integration. As you dissolve emotional triggers and release old patterns, it is essential to integrate these changes into your daily life. In esoteric terms, integration involves bringing the insights and transformations from your inner work into your outer experience. This might mean responding differently when faced with a situation that previously triggered you, pausing to observe your emotions, rather than reacting automatically. It could also mean consciously choosing new behaviors that reflect your reprogrammed beliefs, such as speaking up in situations where you would have remained silent in the past. Integration is an ongoing process, and it requires mindfulness, patience, and a commitment to spiritual growth. Understanding emotional triggers and breaking free from conditioning is a profound act of self-liberation, one that echoes the ancient spiritual path of awakening. By recognizing that your triggers are not random but are rooted in deep psychological and spiritual patterns, you can begin to approach them with a sense of curiosity and compassion, rather than fear or avoidance. Through the practices of shadow work, meditation, reprogramming, and ritual, you can dissolve the old conditioning that keeps you trapped in reactive patterns, freeing yourself to experience life from a place of greater calm, clarity, and empowerment. This process not only leads to emotional mastery but also opens the door to a deeper connection with your higher self, allowing you to live in alignment with your true nature, free from the limitations of the past. Silence as power, cultivating inner stillness. Silence, in the esoteric and mystical traditions, is far more than the absence of sound. It is a dynamic, living force that holds the potential to transform consciousness. Within the Rosicrucian and Gnostic schools of thought, silence is revered as the sacred space from which all wisdom, insight, and spiritual power emerge. It is in silence that the divine can be heard, that the soul can align with the higher self, and that one can discover true inner stillness, which is the foundation of calmness. Cultivating silence is not about retreating from the world, but about creating an inner sanctuary that remains untouched by external chaos. The ability to remain calm in any situation, as taught by the mystics, is rooted in this mastery of silence, both externally and internally. The power of silence is emphasized throughout mystical traditions for its ability to create a space between stimulus and response. In the chaos of everyday life, we are constantly bombarded with stimuli that demand our attention: sounds, thoughts, emotions, and the energies of others. Without the ability to retreat into inner silence, these stimuli pull us into reaction, often before we even realize it. However, when you cultivate the discipline of silence, you create an energetic buffer that allows you to observe the stimulus without being overwhelmed by it. In this space, you can choose your response consciously, rather than being driven by automatic reactions. Silence, in this way, becomes a powerful tool for mastering calmness, as it gives you the space to step back, reflect, and act from a place of centeredness rather than from reactivity. Mystics of the past often retreated into long periods of silence to deepen their spiritual practice, but the true power of silence lies in learning to carry this stillness within you, regardless of external circumstances. The great sages of the Rosicrucian and Gnostic traditions taught that silence is a state of being that can be accessed in the midst of activity. This inner stillness is not dependent on the external environment being quiet. It is a state of mind and soul that is cultivated through consistent practice. The true mastery of silence comes when you can maintain it even in the most challenging situations, when the world around you is chaotic, and yet, within you, there is a calm, unshakable center. This is the essence of spiritual fortitude, the ability to remain still, grounded, and clear, no matter what life presents. To cultivate this inner stillness, esoteric traditions offer a variety of exercises, many of which focus on controlling the breath, the mind, and the flow of energy in the body. One of the foundational techniques is breath control, often referred to in mystical practices as pranic breathing or breath of life. Breath is intimately connected to the mind and emotions. When the breath is shallow or erratic, the mind becomes scattered, and emotions become heightened. However, when the breath is deep, slow, and controlled, it naturally brings the mind into a state of calmness. A simple but powerful practice involves inhaling deeply for a count of 4, holding the breath for a count of 4, and exhaling slowly for a count of 6. This pattern helps to still the mind and body, creating an inner atmosphere of silence. Over time, as this practice becomes habitual, it will create a sense of inner stillness that you can carry into any situation. Mantras, another tool of the mystic, are also essential in cultivating inner silence. A mantra is a word or phrase, often sacred, that is repeated either aloud or silently, serving as a point of focus for the mind. In the Rosicrucian tradition, mantras were used not only to access higher states of consciousness but also to still the mind and quiet the emotional body. When the mind is fixated on a single sound or vibration, it naturally begins to quiet the incessant internal dialogue that typically drives our reactions. This stillness of mind allows for the deeper, spiritual silence to emerge, where the ego's voice is no longer the dominant force. With regular practice, the use of mantras can lead to a profound state of inner calm, where the mind becomes a clear vessel, open to receiving higher guidance and insight. In times of stress or conflict, silently repeating a mantra can bring you back to your center, restoring calm and clarity in moments of emotional turbulence. Energy control methods, such as those taught in Eastern and Western mystical traditions alike, are also crucial in developing inner stillness. In esoteric thought, the body is seen as a vessel through which energy, or life force, flows. When this energy becomes blocked or stagnant, it often manifests as emotional agitation, physical tension, or mental unrest. Practices like meditation, yoga, and specific energy cleansing techniques help to clear these blockages and allow for a smooth flow of energy, which in turn supports a state of calm and stillness. A simple yet effective practice is to visualize a stream of white or golden light flowing down through the crown of your head, moving through your body, and out through your feet, carrying away any tension, negativity, or emotional turbulence. This practice not only helps to calm the nervous system but also aligns your energy with the higher vibrations of peace and clarity, allowing you to remain centered and calm. Living in stillness amidst chaos is one of the greatest challenges and achievements of the spiritual path. It is easy to remain calm when everything around you is peaceful, but the true test of spiritual mastery is maintaining that stillness in the face of external chaos. In the mystical traditions, this ability is seen as a mark of the spiritually advanced individual, one who has transcended the reactive nature of the ego and aligned with the higher self. To achieve this level of mastery, it is important to recognize that chaos itself is not inherently negative. Chaos, in many esoteric teachings, is simply a part of the natural cycles of life, a force of transformation and change. When we resist chaos, we create internal conflict, which disrupts our sense of calm. However, when we accept chaos as a natural part of existence and maintain our inner stillness in its presence, we rise above it. We become the eye of the storm, calm, clear, and unaffected, even as the winds of change swirl around us. The ultimate goal of cultivating inner silence is to reach a state where calmness is not a temporary achievement but a permanent state of being. In this state, you are no longer reactive to the fluctuations of the outer world. Instead, you become a beacon of stillness in the midst of life's storms. This inner stillness is the key to emotional mastery, as it allows you to witness events, emotions, and challenges without becoming swept away by them. It is in this place of silence that the soul can truly thrive, accessing the higher wisdom that is available when the mind and emotions are still. Through the consistent practice of silence, whether through breath, mantra, or energy work, you create a foundation of calmness that will support you through every challenge life presents. Silence is not simply the absence of noise, it is the presence of stillness, clarity, and spiritual power. By cultivating this silence within, you gain the ability to remain calm, centered, and resilient in the face of any situation. The mystical teachings of Rosicrucianism, Gnosticism, and other esoteric traditions remind us that true calmness is not something we achieve by controlling the external world but by mastering our inner world. Silence, when embraced as a practice and a state of being, transforms not only our reactions but our entire experience of life, allowing us to navigate the world from a place of peace, wisdom, and unwavering inner strength. Breath as a gateway to calm. Mystical breathing techniques. Breath is one of the most profound and ancient gateways to inner calm, with mystical traditions across the world recognizing its power to transform consciousness. In esoteric teachings, breath is not merely a biological function, it is a bridge between the body, mind, and spirit. Through the mastery of breath, one can access higher states of awareness, regulate emotions, and attain an unshakable state of calm in any situation. Rosicrucians, Gnostics, and other mystical schools have long taught that controlling the breath is a fundamental key to controlling the mind, and therefore, controlling one's reactions to the external world. Breath, in this sense, becomes a sacred tool for mastering inner balance and spiritual alignment. At its core, breath is intimately tied to consciousness. The mystical principle of as above, so below, from the Hermetic tradition, can also be applied to the relationship between breath and mind. Just as the breath influences the physical body, it also mirrors and shapes our mental and emotional states. When we are agitated, anxious, or stressed, our breath becomes shallow, rapid, and irregular. Conversely, when we are calm, our breath naturally deepens and slows, bringing the mind into a state of equilibrium. This relationship between breath and consciousness is central to the teachings of many esoteric schools. They teach that by consciously regulating the breath, one can access higher states of awareness and maintain control over the mind's tendency to wander, worry, or react impulsively. One of the core mystical breathing techniques taught in esoteric traditions is pranayama, an ancient practice from Eastern traditions that has been adopted and adapted by Western mystics for centuries. Pranayama, meaning control of the life force, is not merely about oxygenating the body but about controlling the flow of prana, an energetic force believed to animate all living things. By mastering pranayama, the practitioner can control the subtle energies within the body, influencing the mind and emotions with precision. One of the most effective pranayama techniques for calming the mind is nadi shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. This practice balances the right and left hemispheres of the brain, harmonizing the mind and emotions. Inhale deeply through one nostril, close it, and exhale through the other nostril. Continue this pattern, alternating nostrils with each breath. This practice quiets mental chatter, balances emotional fluctuations, and brings about a deep sense of calm and clarity. Another powerful breathing method rooted in Rosicrucian and mystical traditions is rhythmic breathing, which emphasizes the importance of bringing harmony to the breath through controlled, deliberate cycles. Rhythmic breathing creates a regular cadence that calms the nervous system and allows the practitioner to enter a state of meditative stillness. A simple yet highly effective form of rhythmic breathing involves inhaling for a count of 4, holding the breath for a count of 4, and exhaling for a count of 6. This pattern naturally slows the heart rate and induces a state of calm, making it an invaluable tool during moments of stress or emotional upheaval. Rhythmic breathing helps to synchronize the body's rhythms with the more subtle, cosmic rhythms of the universe, aligning the individual's energy with the flow of divine order. Breath control is also intimately connected to the mastery of energy, or chi, which influences the body's subtle energy fields and chakras. In esoteric teachings, the breath serves as the gateway to pranic energy, which flows through the body's meridians and energy centers. By controlling the breath, one can direct this energy to clear blockages, heal imbalances, and create emotional stability. The practice of diaphragmatic breathing, for example, activates the body's parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the rest and digest response. This type of breathing, which involves drawing the breath deep into the abdomen rather than the chest, creates a feeling of safety and calm, allowing emotional tensions to dissolve. It also helps to ground the energy in the lower chakras, providing stability and preventing the mind from becoming overwhelmed by turbulent emotions. One of the most powerful breath-related techniques for emotional mastery is heart coherence breathing, a method that aligns the rhythm of the heart with the breath to create a state of emotional balance and mental clarity. This technique is used in many mystical traditions to deepen the connection between the mind and the heart, harmonizing these two centers of consciousness. To practice heart coherence breathing, Begin by focusing your attention on the area of your heart. As you breathe in, imagine that you are drawing the breath directly into your heart center. As you exhale, visualize any tension, stress, or negative emotion leaving your heart. Continue this process, allowing your breath to bring healing energy into your heart with each inhale, and release negativity with each exhale. This practice calms the mind, soothes the emotions, and creates a sense of deep inner peace, making it a powerful tool for remaining calm in challenging situations. Breathing, from an esoteric perspective, is not just about calming the mind, it is also a way to connect with higher spiritual energies. In Gnostic teachings, the breath is seen as the vehicle through which the soul communes with the divine. The act of breathing is itself a microcosm of the process of creation, as each breath is a cycle of death, exhalation, and rebirth, inhalation. Conscious breathing, therefore, becomes a form of spiritual practice that aligns the individual with the cosmic rhythm of creation and dissolution. By bringing attention to the breath, we tap into the deeper currents of life force that flow through all beings, allowing us to transcend the limitations of the ego and enter into a state of spiritual harmony. Breath is also seen as a carrier of spiritual messages and insights. In mystical traditions, there is the understanding that by controlling the breath, we open ourselves to higher guidance. The breath, being the bridge between the physical and spiritual realms, acts as a channel through which divine wisdom can flow. When we bring our awareness to the breath in a state of meditation, we create an energetic opening that allows us to receive messages from our higher self or from spiritual guides. This connection is particularly useful in moments of confusion or emotional turmoil, as it provides a sense of clarity and direction that is grounded in a higher perspective. Ultimately, the mastery of breath is the key to mastering the mind and emotions. By learning to control the breath, we gain control over the fluctuations of the mind, allowing us to maintain a state of calm and clarity even in the most difficult situations. Breath serves as both the anchor and the guide, leading us back to our center when the external world pulls us off balance. In this sense, breath becomes not just a tool for calming the mind, but a sacred practice that connects us to the deeper rhythms of life, the universe, and the divine. Breath is the gateway to calm, to inner stillness, and to spiritual alignment. Mystical teachings across traditions emphasize that through the mastery of breath, we can access deeper levels of consciousness, control our emotional responses, and maintain a state of peace in the face of life's challenges. Whether through pranayama, rhythmic breathing, heart coherence, or other techniques, the power of breath lies in its ability to harmonize body, mind, and spirit, bringing us into alignment with the higher energies that flow through all things. As we learn to work with the breath consciously, we unlock the potential to not only remain calm but to elevate our entire state of being, opening ourselves to the wisdom, peace, and clarity that come from deep inner harmony. The power of visualization, shaping your reality. Visualization has long been regarded as one of the most potent tools in the esoteric and mystical traditions for shaping reality and mastering inner states. The power of the imagination is far more than a creative outlet. It is the means by which the mind interacts with the spiritual and energetic dimensions of existence. Mystics, occultists, and Gnostics have long understood that the images we hold in our minds have the power to influence not only our emotional states but also the reality that unfolds around us. Visualization is, therefore, a bridge between the inner and outer worlds, allowing us to harness the creative potential of the mind to bring about calm, balance, and clarity, even in the midst of chaos. The Gnostic tradition, in particular, views the imagination as a divine faculty, a gift that connects human consciousness to higher realms of existence. Gnostics believe that the material world is only one layer of reality, with the spiritual world existing beyond it, and the imagination is the tool by which we access this higher plane. Neville Goddard, a modern mystic who drew heavily from Gnostic principles, taught that the imagination is not simply a reflection of the mind's inner world but the creative force that shapes external reality. According to his teachings, by visualizing desired outcomes, we impress upon the subconscious mind the images we wish to manifest, and through this process, we align ourselves with the vibrational frequency of those outcomes. Thus, visualization is more than a mental exercise. It is an act of spiritual creation, a method for harmonizing the inner self with the universal forces that govern manifestation. In the context of emotional mastery and calm, visualization becomes an invaluable tool. By using the imagination consciously, we can create mental images that promote inner peace, even in the most challenging situations. One powerful visualization exercise is to create a mental sanctuary, a peaceful, sacred space that you can return to in your mind whenever you need to find calm. This sanctuary could be a garden, a temple, or a place in nature, filled with images and symbols that resonate with your sense of peace and tranquility. Each time you visualize this space, you deepen your connection to it, reinforcing the emotional state of calm that it represents. Over time, this visualization becomes a mental anchor that you can access whenever you feel overwhelmed or reactive, allowing you to immediately return to a state of centeredness and clarity. The power of visualization also extends to the emotional body, where it can be used to shift and transform negative emotional states. In esoteric teachings, emotions are seen as vibrational energies that can be influenced and transmuted through mental imagery. For example, if you are feeling anxious, you can visualize the anxiety as a cloud of dark energy surrounding you. As you breathe deeply, imagine this cloud gradually dissipating, being replaced by a golden light that fills your entire being. This simple yet powerful visualization helps to clear the negative emotional energy and replaces it with a higher vibration, allowing you to move from a state of fear or worry into one of peace and calm. By using visualization in this way, you become an alchemist of your emotional experience, transforming lower vibrations into higher ones with the power of your mind. Visualization is not limited to calming the emotions. It also plays a crucial role in shaping the vibrational state of the body and mind. In the mystical traditions, it is taught that everything in the universe, including thoughts and emotions, vibrates at a particular frequency. The law of resonance states that like attracts like, meaning that the vibrational frequency you emit will attract experiences, people, and situations that resonate with that frequency. Visualization allows you to consciously direct your vibrational state by focusing your mind on images that represent the emotional or spiritual state you wish to embody. For instance, if you are facing a stressful situation and want to remain calm, you can visualize yourself as a mountain, solid, unmovable, and grounded, despite the winds of change that swirl around you. This image not only calms the mind but also aligns your body and emotions with the vibration of stillness and strength, enabling you to maintain your composure even in the face of external turbulence. Moreover, visualization serves as a key to unlocking the power of the subconscious mind. The subconscious is the realm where deep-seated beliefs, emotions, and patterns reside, and it is highly receptive to imagery and symbolism. Esoteric traditions teach that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between real and imagined experiences. It responds to the images we impress upon it as though they are reality. This is why visualization is such a powerful tool for reprogramming the subconscious. By repeatedly visualizing yourself in a state of calm, peace, and confidence, you send a message to the subconscious mind that this is your true state of being. Over time, this new program becomes the default, and you will find yourself naturally reacting with calmness in situations that previously triggered stress or anxiety. One of the most profound aspects of visualization in esoteric practice is its ability to connect us with higher realms of consciousness. In many mystical traditions, visualization is used as a means of accessing the higher self, the part of us that is eternally connected to divine wisdom and love. Through visualization, we can open ourselves to receiving guidance from this higher aspect of ourselves, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and insight. A simple practice involves visualizing a bright light descending from above and entering through the crown of your head, filling your entire being with its radiant energy. As you focus on this light, you can set an intention to connect with your higher self, asking for guidance or insight into a particular situation. This practice not only brings a sense of calm and peace but also aligns you with the higher wisdom that is always available to you. The power of visualization lies in its ability to shape not only our internal states but also the external reality that we experience. As we visualize ourselves embodying calmness, strength, and clarity, we begin to attract circumstances that reinforce these states. The more we practice visualization, the more we attune our vibrational frequency to the qualities we desire, whether it be peace, confidence, or joy. This process is not about escaping from reality but about consciously shaping it through the power of the mind. Visualization allows us to become active participants in the creation of our reality, aligning our inner world with the outer experiences we wish to manifest. Visualization is a powerful tool that has been used for centuries in esoteric and mystical traditions to shape reality, transform emotions, and connect with higher consciousness. By using the imagination consciously, we can access the creative power of the mind to bring about inner calm, balance, and clarity, even in the face of external challenges. Whether through creating mental sanctuaries, transforming emotional energy, or aligning with higher vibrations, visualization offers a profound method for mastering the self and shaping the world around us. As we deepen our practice of visualization, we open ourselves to the infinite possibilities of creation, discovering that we have the power to shape not only our emotional states but the very fabric of our lives. Through the focused use of imagery and intention, we become the architects of our reality, aligning with the divine forces that guide and support us on our spiritual journey. The subconscious mind and emotional control. The subconscious mind plays a central role in determining how we react to life's challenges. In esoteric teachings, it is understood that the subconscious is the vast reservoir where all of our experiences, beliefs, and emotional patterns are stored. It is the unseen force that shapes our behaviors, often without our conscious awareness. This hidden aspect of the mind governs much of our emotional landscape, dictating how we respond to various situations based on the programs and conditioning that have been embedded over time. To gain mastery over emotional reactions, it is essential to understand the workings of the subconscious mind and how to reprogram it to cultivate calmness, balance, and resilience. The influence of the subconscious mind on our reactions is profound. The subconscious operates on the basis of automatic responses, developed from our past experiences, traumas, and repeated emotional patterns. In many ways, it functions like a computer, running programs that have been installed throughout our lives, some of which may be helpful, but many of which are outdated or dysfunctional. These programs often trigger emotional reactions that seem beyond our control, as they arise from deeply ingrained beliefs and memories that reside below the surface of our conscious awareness. For instance, if you were frequently criticized as a child, your subconscious may have internalized the belief that you are not good enough. As an adult, when you encounter criticism, even mild or constructive, your subconscious immediately triggers an emotional reaction of defensiveness or anxiety. This response is automatic, driven by the subconscious programming that equates criticism with emotional pain. Esoteric traditions, particularly those rooted in Gnostic and mystical teachings, have long understood the power of the subconscious mind and its role in shaping our reality. In these traditions, the subconscious is viewed as the intermediary between the conscious mind and the divine. It is the aspect of our consciousness that communicates directly with the higher realms of existence, influencing not only our thoughts and emotions but also the circumstances that manifest in our lives. Mystics have taught that by reprogramming the subconscious, we can align ourselves with higher spiritual truths, dissolving the old patterns that keep us reactive and out of balance. This reprogramming is essential for anyone seeking to maintain calm and clarity, as it allows us to replace the limiting beliefs and emotional triggers stored in the subconscious with new, empowering patterns that support emotional mastery. Subconscious reprogramming for calmness involves the use of specific techniques that work directly with the deeper layers of the mind. One of the most effective methods is the use of affirmations, positive, present tense statements that are designed to overwrite negative subconscious beliefs. Affirmations are not merely wishful thinking. They are a direct communication with the subconscious mind, which accepts repeated suggestions as truth. For example, if you find yourself frequently reacting to stressful situations with anxiety, an affirmation such as, "I am calm, centered, and in control," can be used to rewire your subconscious response. The key to using affirmations effectively is repetition and emotional engagement. By repeating the affirmation daily, especially during moments of stillness or meditation, you gradually replace the old, reactive pattern with a new program of calmness and self-control. Over time, the subconscious adopts this new belief, and your emotional reactions begin to shift accordingly. In addition to affirmations, visualization is another powerful tool for reprogramming the subconscious mind. As discussed in the previous chapter, the subconscious mind does not differentiate between real and imagined experiences. It responds to imagery as though it were a reality. By visualizing yourself remaining calm and composed in stressful situations, you send a message to your subconscious that this is the desired response. Visualization helps to create new neural pathways in the brain, reinforcing the connection between calmness and external triggers. The more vividly you can imagine yourself embodying a state of calm, the more your subconscious will adopt this image as the new normal. With practice, your subconscious begins to default to this state of calmness, even when faced with challenging circumstances. Another critical aspect of reprogramming the subconscious for emotional control is identifying and bringing awareness to unconscious patterns. In esoteric teachings, the unconscious mind is viewed as the shadow aspect of consciousness, the part of ourselves that we often reject, ignore, or deny. These shadow aspects are responsible for many of our automatic emotional reactions, as they are driven by unresolved fears, desires, and traumas. Shadow work, an integral practice in many mystical traditions, involves uncovering these unconscious patterns and bringing them into the light of conscious awareness. This process requires a willingness to confront the parts of ourselves that we may find uncomfortable, but it is essential for true emotional mastery. By recognizing the hidden fears or beliefs that drive our reactions, we gain the power to change them. One way to uncover these unconscious patterns is through journaling, a practice that allows you to explore your thoughts and emotions in a structured and reflective manner. By writing about your emotional reactions and tracing them back to their origins, you can often identify the subconscious beliefs that are fueling them. For instance, if you find yourself frequently reacting with anger in certain situations, journaling about these experiences can help you discover the underlying fear or insecurity that triggers the anger. Once these patterns are brought into conscious awareness, you can begin to dissolve them through practices such as affirmations, visualization, or energy work, freeing yourself from their grip. In esoteric teachings, the act of bringing unconscious patterns to light is considered a form of spiritual purification. It is through this process of self-inquiry and inner reflection that we purify the mind and emotions, aligning them with the higher self. This purification is not a one-time event but an ongoing process of deepening awareness and healing. Each time we confront an unconscious pattern and bring it into the light, we take another step toward emotional freedom and spiritual liberation. The more we engage in this work, the more we cultivate a state of calmness and clarity, as we are no longer bound by the reactive programs of the subconscious. Finally, the practice of meditation plays a crucial role in reprogramming the subconscious for calmness. Meditation allows us to access the deeper layers of the mind, where subconscious patterns reside. Through meditation, we create a state of inner stillness and openness, which enables us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment or attachment. This practice helps to quiet the constant mental chatter that often drives emotional reactions, creating a space where we can consciously choose our responses rather than being ruled by automatic programming. Over time, regular meditation helps to rewire the brain, promoting greater emotional regulation and mental clarity. It also deepens our connection to the higher self, allowing us to access the wisdom and guidance that transcend the reactive patterns of the lower mind. The subconscious mind is the hidden force that shapes much of our emotional experience. By understanding how it operates and learning to reprogram it, we can transform our automatic reactions and cultivate a state of calmness and emotional control. Techniques such as affirmations, visualization, shadow work, and meditation offer powerful tools for accessing and reshaping the subconscious, allowing us to align our emotional responses with our higher spiritual aspirations. As we bring awareness to the unconscious patterns that govern our behavior, we gain the power to dissolve them, freeing ourselves from the cycle of reactivity and stepping into a state of calm, clarity, and inner peace. This process of reprogramming the subconscious is a path not only to emotional mastery but to spiritual growth, as it brings us into greater alignment with the truth of who we are, calm, centered, and connected to the divine. The esoteric anatomy of emotions, chakras, energy, and calmness. The esoteric teachings of many mystical traditions, including those of Gnosticism, Rosicrucianism, and Eastern philosophy, view emotions not merely as psychological phenomena but as energetic processes deeply intertwined with the subtle anatomy of the human body. Emotions, in this view, are manifestations of energy that flow through the chakras, energy centers within the body that govern various aspects of our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Understanding the esoteric anatomy of emotions, particularly how the chakras influence emotional stability, is key to mastering calmness and emotional control. By working with these energy centers, we can balance our emotional energy, release blockages, and cultivate an inner state of peace and equilibrium, even in the face of external challenges. The chakras, as described in the esoteric traditions, are 7 main energy centers located along the spine, each corresponding to different aspects of our physical and emotional experience. These energy centers serve as conduits for prana, or life force, which flows through the body's subtle energy fields. Each chakra governs specific emotions and psychological states, and when these centers are balanced, the flow of prana is harmonious, resulting in emotional stability and calmness. However, when a chakra is blocked, overactive, or underactive, the energy flow is disrupted, leading to emotional imbalances that can manifest as anxiety, anger, depression, or fear. In order to achieve emotional mastery, it is essential to understand how each chakra influences our emotional states and to learn techniques for restoring balance to these energy centers. The root chakra, or Muladhara, located at the base of the spine, is associated with feelings of safety, security, and groundedness. When the root chakra is balanced, we feel stable, calm, and connected to the earth. However, when this chakra is blocked or imbalanced, we may experience fear, anxiety, and a lack of grounding, which can cause us to react impulsively to external stressors. In esoteric practices, grounding techniques are often used to restore balance to the root chakra, helping to bring us back into a state of calm and security. Simple practices such as walking barefoot on the earth, visualizing roots extending from the base of the spine into the ground, or engaging in breathwork that focuses on the lower body can help to activate and balance the root chakra, allowing us to remain calm and centered, even in challenging situations. The sacral chakra, or svadhisthana, located in the lower abdomen, governs emotions related to creativity, pleasure, and intimacy. This chakra is particularly sensitive to emotional energy, as it is closely linked to our relationships and our ability to express emotions. When the sacral chakra is balanced, we are able to express our emotions freely and joyfully, without being overwhelmed by them. However, when this chakra is blocked or imbalanced, we may experience emotional volatility, mood swings, or difficulty in managing relationships. In order to balance the sacral chakra, esoteric traditions often recommend practices that allow for the healthy expression of emotions, such as creative activities, emotional release techniques, or water-based meditations. By consciously working with the sacral chakra, we can cultivate emotional resilience and flow, reducing the likelihood of being overwhelmed by emotional triggers. The solar plexus chakra, or manipura, located in the upper abdomen, is the center of personal power, will, and self-esteem. It governs emotions related to confidence, control, and self-worth. When the solar plexus chakra is balanced, we feel empowered, in control of our emotions, and capable of responding to life's challenges with calm determination. However, when this chakra is imbalanced, we may experience feelings of powerlessness, frustration, or anger. In esoteric teachings, one of the primary ways to balance the solar plexus chakra is through practices that cultivate self-discipline and inner strength, such as martial arts, focused breathwork, or meditations that emphasize the sun's energy. By strengthening the solar plexus chakra, we develop the ability to remain calm and composed in situations where we might otherwise feel out of control or overwhelmed. The heart chakra, or anahata, located in the center of the chest, is the seat of love, compassion, and emotional balance. It is through the heart chakra that we connect with others and experience empathy, kindness, and forgiveness. When the heart chakra is open and balanced, we are able to give and receive love freely, without attachment or expectation. This openness creates a sense of emotional calm and harmony, as we are no longer bound by the lower emotions of fear, jealousy, or resentment. However, when the heart chakra is blocked, we may experience emotional pain, grief, or an inability to connect with others. In esoteric traditions, practices such as heart-centered meditation, loving kindness exercises, and breathwork that focuses on the chest area are used to balance the heart chakra and restore emotional calmness. By working with the heart chakra, we can transcend the lower emotional states and cultivate a deep sense of inner peace and unconditional love. The throat chakra, or vishuddha, located at the throat, governs communication, self-expression, and emotional authenticity. It is through this chakra that we express our truth and align our inner world with our outer actions. When the throat chakra is balanced, we are able to communicate our emotions clearly and authentically, without fear of judgment or rejection. However, when this chakra is blocked, we may experience difficulty expressing ourselves, leading to feelings of frustration, isolation, or suppressed emotions. In esoteric practices, balancing the throat chakra involves exercises that encourage open and honest communication, such as vocal toning, chanting, or journaling. By working with the throat chakra, we can ensure that our emotional energy flows freely, reducing the buildup of unexpressed emotions that often lead to emotional reactivity. The third eye chakra, or ajna, located between the eyebrows, is the center of intuition, insight, and emotional clarity. This chakra governs our ability to see beyond the surface of our emotions and to understand their deeper meaning. When the third eye chakra is balanced, we are able to maintain emotional clarity, seeing situations from a higher perspective and responding with wisdom rather than reaction. However, when this chakra is imbalanced, we may feel confused, disconnected from our intuition, or overwhelmed by emotional distortions. In esoteric traditions, practices such as meditation, visualization, and dream work are used to activate and balance the third eye chakra. By cultivating a strong connection with this chakra, we can maintain emotional calmness and clarity, even in situations where emotions run high. Finally, the crown chakra, or Sahasrara, located at the top of the head, is the center of spiritual connection and divine consciousness. It is through the crown chakra that we experience unity with the higher self and the divine. When this chakra is balanced, we are able to transcend the ego's emotional reactions and experience a deep sense of peace and serenity. However, when the crown chakra is blocked, we may feel disconnected from our spiritual essence, leading to feelings of despair, isolation, or existential anxiety. In esoteric teachings, the crown chakra is balanced through practices that cultivate spiritual awareness, such as meditation, prayer, or contemplation of the divine. By working with the crown chakra, we can transcend the lower emotions of fear and doubt, aligning ourselves with the higher vibrations of peace, love, and wisdom. In addition to the chakras, the subtle energy fields that surround the body, often referred to as the aura, also play a significant role in emotional regulation. The aura is the energetic field that reflects the state of the chakras and the overall health of the energy body. When the aura is strong and clear, emotional energy flows smoothly, and we are less likely to be affected by external stressors or negative energies from others. However, when the aura is weak or clouded, we may become more susceptible to emotional disturbances or feel overwhelmed by the energies of others. Esoteric practices such as aura cleansing, grounding, and energy balancing can help to strengthen the aura and maintain emotional stability. Techniques such as visualizing a protective shield of light surrounding the body, using crystals to cleanse the energy field, or practicing grounding exercises can help to keep the aura clear and balanced, supporting emotional calmness and resilience. Understanding the esoteric anatomy of emotions, particularly the role of the chakras and subtle energy fields, is essential for cultivating emotional control and inner calm. By working with the chakras to balance and harmonize the flow of energy, we can release emotional blockages, restore emotional stability, and align ourselves with higher states of consciousness. Through the practices of chakra balancing, aura cleansing, and energy work, we gain the ability to navigate life's challenges with calmness, clarity, and inner strength. These esoteric tools not only help us to manage our emotions but also offer a pathway to deeper spiritual growth, as we align our emotional energy with the higher vibrations of peace, love, and wisdom. The law of mentalism: how thoughts create reactions. In the realm of esoteric and mystical teachings, the mind is recognized as the central force that shapes both our internal and external realities. The law of mentalism, derived from the Hermetic tradition and other occult philosophies, asserts that all is mind. This principle teaches that the universe itself is a mental construct, and that everything we experience begins with thought. Our thoughts, like seeds, grow into emotional responses, actions, and ultimately, the circumstances that shape our lives. Therefore, mastering our thoughts is the key to mastering our emotional reactions. Understanding how mental energy influences emotional states is essential to cultivating a calm, focused, and resilient mind. The law of mentalism states that thoughts are the root of all emotions, reactions, and experiences. According to this Hermetic principle, the universe operates on a mental plane, meaning that every manifestation, from the smallest event in our lives to the grandest workings of the cosmos, begins with thought. In this view, thoughts are not passive or inconsequential. They are active forces that have the power to shape reality. If we examine our emotional reactions, we can trace them back to the thoughts that precede them. A thought of fear leads to anxiety, a thought of anger fuels rage, and a thought of inadequacy triggers insecurity. By mastering the mind, we gain the ability to reshape our emotional reactions, transforming negative thoughts into positive outcomes and chaotic mental states into serene, balanced ones. In esoteric teachings, thoughts are understood to be vibrational in nature, emitting frequencies that align with the emotions they generate. Lower vibrational thoughts, those rooted in fear, anger, jealousy, or doubt, create emotional reactions that resonate with similar low vibrations, leading to states of turmoil, instability, and imbalance. Higher vibrational thoughts, rooted in love, peace, wisdom, and compassion, produce emotional reactions that are aligned with higher frequencies, resulting in calmness, clarity, and a sense of well-being. This vibrational aspect of thought is a fundamental concept in both ancient and modern mystical traditions, emphasizing that by elevating our thoughts, we elevate our emotional state and the overall quality of our life experiences. Therefore, to master our emotional reactions, we must first learn to master the vibrations of our thoughts. One of the primary ways to apply the law of mentalism in daily life is through the practice of thought observation and reframing. In moments of emotional reactivity, it is often difficult to see beyond the intensity of the emotion. However, if we pause and reflect on the thoughts that triggered the emotional reaction, we can begin to unravel the source of our distress. For example, if you find yourself reacting with frustration in a particular situation, you can ask yourself, what thought is at the root of this frustration? Often, the thought will be linked to an expectation, a belief, or a fear. Once the thought is identified, it can be reframed. Reframing is the practice of consciously shifting a thought from a negative perspective to a more positive or neutral one. For instance, a thought like, "This situation is unfair," can be reframed to, "This situation is challenging, but I can handle it." This subtle shift in thought changes the emotional tone of the situation, moving you from frustration to acceptance or calmness. Reframing mental perceptions is a powerful tool not only for managing emotions but also for changing the way we interact with the world. When we learn to consistently reframe negative thoughts, we change the vibrational frequency of our mind, aligning it with higher states of consciousness. In esoteric traditions, the act of reframing is seen as a form of alchemy, transforming the base metals of low vibrational thoughts into the gold of higher consciousness. This practice is particularly useful when dealing with long-standing emotional patterns or deeply ingrained beliefs that have become part of our mental landscape. By consistently reframing thoughts that fuel emotional reactions, we gradually dissolve the old mental patterns that keep us trapped in cycles of reactivity, replacing them with thoughts that promote peace, resilience, and emotional stability. The power of thought mastery extends beyond individual reactions and influences the larger patterns of our lives. According to the law of mentalism, our habitual thoughts create the conditions of our reality. Thoughts are not confined to the mind. They project outward, influencing the circumstances, relationships, and events we attract. Therefore, if we wish to change our external reality, we must first change our internal thoughts. This is a fundamental teaching in both Hermetic philosophy and modern mystical traditions such as the teachings of Neville Goddard, who emphasize the role of imagination and thought in shaping one's destiny. If we continually think in terms of lack, limitation, or fear, we will manifest experiences that reflect those thoughts. Conversely, if we cultivate thoughts of abundance, empowerment, and peace, we will attract situations that align with those higher states of consciousness. One technique for mastering thought is the practice of conscious thought direction. This involves actively choosing the thoughts we want to focus on, rather than allowing the mind to run on autopilot. In moments of stress or emotional turmoil, the mind tends to gravitate toward familiar thought patterns, often those rooted in fear, doubt, or negativity. Conscious thought direction involves interrupting this process and deliberately focusing the mind on thoughts that align with calmness, clarity, and strength. A simple practice for doing this is to create a list of affirmations or mantras that reflect the qualities you wish to embody, such as, I am calm and centered, I trust in the flow of life, or I am capable and strong. By repeating these affirmations during moments of emotional intensity, you redirect the mind away from negative thought patterns and reinforce positive, empowering beliefs. Visualization is another powerful tool for mastering thought and, by extension, emotional reactions. As discussed in previous chapters, the subconscious mind responds strongly to imagery, and visualization allows us to create mental pictures that align with the emotional states we wish to cultivate. By visualizing yourself as calm, composed, and centered in challenging situations, you send a message to your subconscious mind that this is your desired state of being. Over time, the subconscious begins to adopt this image as reality, and your emotional reactions will begin to reflect this new mental program. Visualization can also be used to mentally rehearse difficult situations, allowing you to practice remaining calm and centered in the face of potential stressors. This mental rehearsal strengthens the neural pathways associated with calmness, making it easier to access that state when real-life challenges arise. Ultimately, the law of mentalism teaches us that we are not victims of our emotions or circumstances. We are the creators of our reality. By mastering our thoughts, we gain the power to shape not only our emotional responses but also the larger patterns of our lives. This mastery is not achieved through force or suppression but through awareness, intention, and practice. The mind, when trained and directed, becomes a powerful tool for emotional control and spiritual growth. Through the consistent practice of thought observation, reframing, conscious thought direction, and visualization, we can elevate our mental vibrations, align with higher states of consciousness, and cultivate a deep sense of calm and clarity that transcends the fluctuations of external events. The law of mentalism is a profound principle that underscores the importance of thought in shaping both our inner emotional world and our outer reality. By recognizing that thoughts are the root of emotional reactions, we can begin to take conscious control of our mental processes, transforming negative thought patterns into positive ones. Through practices such as reframing, thought direction, and visualization, we gain the ability to align our thoughts with the emotional states we wish to cultivate: calmness, clarity, and inner strength. As we master our thoughts, we not only gain control over our emotional reactions but also unlock the power to shape our destiny, creating a life that reflects our highest aspirations and spiritual truths. Balancing masculine and feminine energies for emotional control. In the esoteric and mystical traditions, the balance of masculine and feminine energies is essential for emotional mastery and inner harmony. These energies, also known as the active, masculine, and receptive, feminine, forces, exist within all individuals, regardless of gender, and play a significant role in shaping our emotional responses, behaviors, and overall sense of balance. The masculine energy is often associated with action, logic, structure, and determination, while the feminine energy is linked to intuition, receptivity, creativity, and nurturing. Both energies are necessary for a balanced and harmonious life, but when they are out of alignment, when one is overly dominant or underdeveloped, emotional imbalance, reactivity, and inner conflict arise. To cultivate emotional control and a deep sense of calm, it is crucial to understand these dual forces within us and to learn how to harmonize them. The duality of masculine and feminine energies is central to many esoteric teachings. In Hermeticism, this duality is described as the principle of gender, one of the 7 Hermetic principles, which states that everything in the universe contains both masculine and feminine aspects. In Gnostic and mystical traditions, this concept is often expressed as the balance of the sun, masculine, and the moon, feminine, or the active and passive forces. The masculine energy is outward moving, focused on achieving goals, solving problems, and asserting control over the environment. It is the energy of doing, of making things happen. The feminine energy, on the other hand, is inward moving, focused on intuition, emotional awareness, and the receptive qualities of being. It is the energy of allowing, flowing, and nurturing. Both energies are necessary for a balanced life, and emotional mastery requires that we integrate these two forces, ensuring that neither becomes overly dominant or suppressed. When masculine and feminine energies are out of balance, emotional reactivity often results. If masculine energy is overly dominant, we may find ourselves becoming rigid, controlling, or overly aggressive in our approach to life's challenges. This imbalance can lead to impatience, frustration, and an inability to relax or go with the flow. A person who is too driven by masculine energy may struggle to access their emotional depth or to be receptive to others, which can create tension in relationships and lead to emotional burnout. Conversely, when feminine energy is overly dominant, we may become overly passive, indecisive, or emotionally overwhelmed. This imbalance can result in a lack of boundaries, difficulty in taking action, or becoming too easily swayed by external influences. A person who is too immersed in feminine energy may struggle with assertiveness or self-discipline, leading to feelings of powerlessness or emotional instability. The key to emotional control lies in integrating and balancing these two energies within ourselves. When the masculine and feminine forces are in harmony, we are able to access both the strength and determination of the masculine, as well as the intuition and emotional fluidity of the feminine. This balance allows us to respond to life's challenges with both clarity and compassion, strength and flexibility. For example, when faced with a stressful situation, a balanced individual can draw upon their masculine energy to take decisive action while also remaining open to the guidance of their feminine intuition. They can approach the situation with confidence and determination, but without becoming rigid or reactive. At the same time, they are able to stay emotionally present, processing their feelings with grace and maintaining a sense of inner calm. One of the most effective ways to integrate these energies is through the practice of dynamic meditation. Dynamic meditation involves alternating between active and passive states, allowing both the masculine and feminine energies to express themselves and come into balance. A simple practice for balancing masculine and feminine energies through dynamic meditation might involve engaging in an active, vigorous physical practice, such as yoga, martial arts, or even dance, followed by a period of stillness and reflection. During the active phase, you allow your masculine energy to express itself fully, focusing on strength, discipline, and physical movement. In the stillness that follows, you cultivate your feminine energy by tuning into your breath, emotions, and inner guidance. This alternation between action and reflection mirrors the natural rhythms of life, helping to bring the masculine and feminine forces within you into harmony. Another powerful tool for balancing masculine and feminine energies is through visualization. Visualization allows you to consciously engage with these energies and guide them into a state of equilibrium. Begin by sitting in a comfortable position and closing your eyes. Visualize a bright, golden sun in your solar plexus area, representing your masculine energy. Feel its warmth and strength radiating through your body, filling you with a sense of confidence and empowerment. Next, visualize a silvery moon in your heart or lower abdomen, representing your feminine energy. Feel its cool, soothing light washing over you, bringing a sense of calm, intuition, and emotional openness. As you breathe deeply, imagine these two energies coming into balance, blending together in perfect harmony. The sun and moon energies flow through your body, integrating and aligning your masculine and feminine aspects. This visualization helps to restore balance and harmony to your energy field, supporting emotional stability and inner calm. Harmonizing masculine and feminine energies also involves recognizing and honoring the cycles of action and rest in your life. In esoteric teachings, the cycles of nature, day and night, the waxing and waning of the moon, the seasons, are reflections of the balance between masculine and feminine forces. Just as nature requires periods of activity and periods of rest, so too does the human psyche. Emotional imbalance often arises when we ignore these natural rhythms, either by pushing ourselves too hard in the pursuit of goals, overemphasis on masculine energy, or by becoming stagnant and avoiding necessary action, overemphasis on feminine energy. To cultivate emotional control, it is important to honor the cycles of action and rest in your own life. When you feel the need to take decisive action, embrace your masculine energy and move forward with clarity and confidence. When you feel the need to rest, reflect, or process your emotions, allow yourself to enter into a more receptive, feminine state. By honoring these cycles, you maintain a natural balance between doing and being, ensuring that neither energy becomes overtaxed or neglected. Balancing masculine and feminine energies is not only essential for emotional control but also for creating harmony in relationships. Relationships often reflect the balance or imbalance of these energies within each person. When one partner is overly dominant in masculine energy and the other overly passive in feminine energy, the relationship can become unbalanced, leading to power struggles, emotional disconnect, or dependency. However, when both partners cultivate a balance of masculine and feminine energies within themselves, the relationship can thrive in a state of mutual respect, emotional connection, and harmony. Each partner is able to express both their strength and vulnerability, their assertiveness and receptivity, creating a dynamic that supports emotional growth and stability. In this way, balancing these energies not only benefits the individual but also enhances the quality of their interactions with others. The balance of masculine and feminine energies is essential for emotional control and overall well-being. These energies, though often seen as opposites, are in fact complementary forces that, when integrated, create a sense of wholeness, strength, and emotional stability. By learning to recognize and harmonize these energies within ourselves, we gain the ability to navigate life's challenges with both clarity and compassion, strength and sensitivity. Whether through dynamic meditation, visualization, or honoring the natural cycles of action and rest, the practice of balancing masculine and feminine energies leads to greater emotional resilience and a deeper sense of inner calm. As we cultivate this balance, we not only achieve greater mastery over our own emotions but also enhance our ability to create harmonious and fulfilling relationships, both with ourselves and with others. Mastering the elemental forces within you. The ancient esoteric traditions have long taught that human beings are composed of and influenced by the four elemental forces: earth, air, fire, and water. These elements are not merely physical components of the natural world, they also correspond to psychological and emotional energies within us. Understanding and balancing these elemental forces is key to mastering emotional control, as each element influences different aspects of our personality and emotional responses. The ancient alchemists, Gnostics, and mystics recognized that by aligning these inner elements, we can create harmony within ourselves, achieving a state of calm and equilibrium that enables us to navigate the chaos of life with clarity and grace. The four elements, earth, air, fire, and water, are archetypal forces that exist within each of us, influencing our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. In esoteric philosophy, the earth element represents stability, groundedness, and the physical body. Air symbolizes the intellect, communication, and mental clarity. Fire corresponds to willpower, passion, and transformation. And water is associated with emotions, intuition, and adaptability. These elements are constantly interacting within us, shaping the way we perceive and respond to the world. When the elements are in balance, we experience emotional harmony and self-mastery. However, when one or more elements are out of alignment, we may become emotionally reactive, ungrounded, or overwhelmed by internal conflicts. The first step to mastering the elemental forces within you is to recognize how each element manifests in your life and to identify which elements may be out of balance. The earth element, for example, governs feelings of security, stability, and connection to the physical world. When the earth element is strong and balanced, we feel grounded, calm, and capable of handling life's challenges. We are practical, patient, and able to approach problems with a steady mind. However, when the earth element is deficient, we may feel anxious, scattered, or disconnected from our bodies. On the other hand, when the earth element is overly dominant, we may become rigid, stubborn, or overly materialistic, clinging to routines and resisting change. To balance the earth element, grounding practices such as spending time in nature, walking barefoot, or engaging in physical activities that connect you to your body can be beneficial. Meditations that focus on rooting yourself to the earth or visualizing yourself as a strong, stable tree can also help to bring this element into alignment. The air element governs the realm of thought, communication, and intellectual clarity. It represents the power of the mind to analyze, plan, and express ideas. When the air element is balanced, we think clearly, communicate effectively, and are open to new ideas and perspectives. However, when the air element is imbalanced, either too weak or too dominant, we may experience mental fog, indecision, or overthinking. An excess of air can lead to anxiety, nervousness, and constant mental chatter, while a deficiency in air can result in sluggish thinking, poor communication, or difficulty making decisions. To balance the air element, practices that calm the mind and promote mental clarity are essential. Breathing exercises, meditation, and mindful focus on the present moment can help to still the mind and bring the air element into harmony. Engaging in creative activities that stimulate intellectual curiosity, such as reading, writing, or learning something new, can also strengthen this element. Fire is the element of willpower, passion, and transformation. It is the driving force behind our ambitions, creativity, and desires. When the fire element is balanced, we feel motivated, confident, and capable of pursuing our goals with enthusiasm and determination. However, when fire is out of balance, it can manifest as either apathy or destructive anger. An excess of fire can lead to aggression, impatience, and impulsive behavior, while a lack of fire can result in lethargy, lack of motivation, and a sense of powerlessness. Balancing the fire element requires learning how to channel this energy in constructive ways. Practices that involve movement and focus, such as dynamic meditation, martial arts, or even focused breathwork, pranayama, can help to regulate the fire element. Visualizations that involve light or flame, such as imagining a glowing sun in your solar plexus, can also help to harness and direct your inner fire without allowing it to burn out of control. Water, the element of emotion, intuition, and flow, governs our emotional responses and our ability to adapt to change. When water is balanced, we are emotionally open, compassionate, and able to go with the flow of life. We trust our intuition and are able to navigate the ebb and flow of our emotions without being overwhelmed by them. However, when the water element is out of balance, we may experience emotional instability, mood swings, or difficulty processing our feelings. An excess of water can lead to emotional overwhelm, hypersensitivity, or a tendency to become lost in feelings, while a deficiency in water can result in emotional numbness, detachment, or resistance to change. To balance the water element, it is important to engage in practices that allow for emotional expression and release. Journaling, art, and creative expression can help to process emotions, while meditation and breathwork can promote emotional clarity. Spending time near water, whether by a river, lake, or ocean, can also help to soothe and balance the water element within you. In addition to working with the individual elements, the key to emotional mastery lies in understanding how the elements interact with each other. The elements are not isolated forces. They work together in dynamic balance, and when one element becomes dominant or suppressed, it affects the others. For example, too much fire, anger, or impatience can dry out the water element, leading to emotional rigidity or an inability to adapt. Conversely, an overabundance of water, emotional overwhelm, can extinguish the fire element, resulting in a lack of motivation or willpower. Learning to recognize how these elemental imbalances manifest in your emotions and behaviors is the first step toward restoring harmony. The goal is not to suppress any of the elements but to bring them into alignment, allowing each one to support and complement the others. Esoteric practices such as alchemical meditation or elemental balancing rituals are powerful tools for integrating and harmonizing the elemental forces within you. In alchemical meditation, you consciously work with the symbolic qualities of each element, visualizing them in their purest form and inviting them to bring balance to your body and mind. For example, during meditation, you might visualize yourself surrounded by the energies of the earth, feeling grounded and stable, before shifting your focus to the qualities of air, allowing your thoughts to become clear and expansive. You might then visualize the fire element, feeling its warmth and power, before ending with the water element, bringing a sense of emotional fluidity and calm. This type of meditation allows you to directly engage with the elemental forces within you, creating harmony and balance across your entire being. Grounding practices are also essential for integrating the elements and maintaining emotional balance. The earth element, in particular, is often emphasized in esoteric traditions as the foundation of all the other elements. Without a strong connection to the earth, it is difficult to balance the other elements, as they become unmoored and unstable. Grounding exercises such as deep breathing, walking in nature, or visualizing roots extending from your feet into the earth help to anchor your energy and provide a stable foundation for emotional control. When you feel grounded, it becomes easier to regulate the other elements and maintain a sense of inner calm and balance. Mastering the elemental forces within you is a key aspect of emotional control and inner harmony. The four elements, earth, air, fire, and water, are powerful archetypes that govern different aspects of our emotional and psychological makeup. By understanding how these elements influence your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and by learning to balance them through esoteric practices, you can cultivate a deep sense of calm and emotional resilience. Whether through meditation, visualization, or grounding techniques, working with the elements allows you to align your inner energies and achieve a state of equilibrium that supports emotional mastery. As you harmonize the elemental forces within you, you unlock the potential to navigate life's challenges with grace, strength, and clarity, becoming a master of your inner world and a force of balance in the outer world. Integrating emotional mastery into everyday life. The journey toward emotional mastery is not a solitary practice reserved for moments of meditation or introspection. True mastery lies in the ability to integrate all the spiritual principles, techniques, and insights gained through esoteric practices into the fabric of everyday life. Emotional control is a dynamic, ongoing process that requires the conscious application of ancient wisdom in our daily interactions, relationships, and challenges. Through consistent practice and mindfulness, the calmness, clarity, and balance we cultivate in moments of stillness become part of our default state, transforming how we engage with the world. This chapter explores practical ways to integrate emotional mastery into daily living, drawing on the teachings of ancient mystics, alchemists, and spiritual philosophers. One of the foundational practices for integrating emotional mastery into everyday life is cultivating presence. As we explored earlier, Presence is the ability to be fully aware and engaged in the present moment, free from the distractions of past regrets or future anxieties. It is in the present moment that we have the power to choose our emotional responses consciously, rather than reacting automatically based on old patterns or conditioning. Bringing presence into daily life means developing the habit of mindfulness, paying attention to your thoughts, emotions, and surroundings as they unfold in real time. This can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths before responding to a stressful situation or pausing to notice how your body feels during a conversation. By training yourself to be fully present, you create space between stimulus and response, allowing yourself to choose calmness and clarity over reactivity. The practice of mindfulness extends beyond moments of emotional intensity and can be integrated into the most mundane aspects of life. Whether you are washing dishes, commuting to work, or engaging in a conversation, mindfulness invites you to fully inhabit each moment with awareness. By bringing your full attention to the task at hand, you anchor yourself in the present, reducing the likelihood of being swept away by emotional undercurrents. Over time, this practice of mindful awareness becomes second nature, allowing you to remain centered and composed even in the face of external stressors. Mindfulness, as taught in many mystical traditions, is the gateway to spiritual awakening and emotional liberation, as it empowers you to live in alignment with your higher self, unburdened by the reactive patterns of the lower mind. Another key practice for integrating emotional mastery into daily life is setting intentions at the beginning of each day. In the esoteric traditions, intention is recognized as a powerful force that directs the flow of energy and shapes our experiences. By consciously setting an intention for how you want to feel and respond throughout the day, you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your spiritual goals. For example, you might set the intention to remain calm and centered in all interactions, or to approach challenges with patience and compassion. This simple yet profound practice helps to keep you aligned with your higher self, acting as a guidepost that you can return to whenever you feel off balance. When you set a clear intention, you direct your energy toward embodying the qualities you wish to cultivate, making it easier to maintain emotional control in the face of life's ups and downs. Rituals can also play an important role in integrating emotional mastery into everyday life. In many esoteric traditions, rituals are used as a way to anchor spiritual practices into the physical world, creating a bridge between the inner and outer realms. These rituals do not need to be elaborate or time-consuming. They can be simple daily practices that reinforce your commitment to emotional balance and spiritual growth. For example, you might create a morning ritual that involves lighting a candle, saying an affirmation, and spending a few moments in silent meditation, setting the tone for the day ahead. Or you might develop an evening ritual that includes reflecting on the day's events, releasing any emotional tension, and expressing gratitude for the lessons learned. These small but consistent acts of ritual help to ground your emotional mastery practice, making it a tangible part of your daily life. Another practical way to integrate emotional mastery into daily life is through the cultivation of compassionate self-awareness. As human beings, we are not immune to emotional fluctuations, and there will be times when old patterns of reactivity surface. Instead of judging yourself harshly for experiencing difficult emotions, approach these moments with compassion and curiosity. The mystics taught that self-compassion is essential to spiritual growth, as it allows us to embrace all aspects of ourselves, the light and the shadow, with understanding and love. When you notice yourself reacting emotionally, take a step back and observe the reaction without judgment. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to teach me? Or, what is the underlying belief or fear that is fueling this reaction? By approaching your emotions with compassion and inquiry, you transform emotional reactivity into an opportunity for self-awareness and healing. This practice not only enhances emotional mastery but also deepens your connection to your higher self, as you cultivate greater understanding and acceptance of your inner world. In addition to self-awareness, it is important to practice compassionate communication in your relationships with others. Emotional mastery is not just about regulating your own emotions, it is also about creating harmonious interactions with the people in your life. Esoteric teachings often emphasize the importance of conscious communication, where words are spoken with intention, clarity, and kindness. When you communicate from a place of emotional balance, you are able to express your needs and boundaries without reacting from anger, fear, or defensiveness. Compassionate communication involves active listening, empathy, and a willingness to see the other person's perspective. It also means speaking your truth with respect and authenticity, without resorting to blame or judgment. By practicing compassionate communication, you create an atmosphere of mutual respect and understanding, fostering deeper emotional connections and reducing the likelihood of conflict. Another important aspect of integrating emotional mastery into daily life is recognizing and honoring the rhythms of your emotional energy. Just as the natural world follows cycles, day and night, the seasons, the phases of the moon, so too does the emotional body. There will be times when you feel energized, focused, and emotionally strong, and other times when you feel drained, vulnerable, or in need of rest. Emotional mastery involves recognizing these cycles and adjusting your expectations and actions accordingly. If you are feeling emotionally depleted, it may be a sign that you need to engage in self-care, rest, or reflection. If you are feeling emotionally charged, it may be an opportunity to channel that energy into creative expression, problem-solving, or personal growth. By honoring the natural rhythms of your emotional energy, you create a sustainable practice of emotional mastery that supports your well-being over the long term. Finally, integrating emotional mastery into everyday life requires patience and persistence. Emotional mastery is not a destination but a lifelong practice. There will be days when you feel deeply connected to your inner calm and strength, and other days when old patterns of reactivity resurface. The key is to remain committed to the process, trusting that each step you take brings you closer to a state of emotional freedom and spiritual alignment. The ancient mystics often spoke of the spiritual path as a journey of constant refinement, where each experience, whether joyful or challenging, is an opportunity for growth and transformation. By approaching your emotional mastery practice with patience and perseverance, you build the inner resilience needed to navigate life's inevitable ups and downs with grace and clarity. Emotional mastery is not a practice confined to moments of meditation or reflection. It is a way of being that permeates every aspect of life. By integrating the principles of presence, intention, compassion, and balance into your daily routine, you cultivate a state of calm and clarity that becomes part of your everyday experience. Whether through mindfulness, rituals, compassionate communication, or self-awareness, emotional mastery is a dynamic, ongoing process that requires consistent practice and a commitment to spiritual growth. As you continue to cultivate these practices, you will find that emotional control becomes less about managing your emotions and more about living in alignment with your higher self, where calmness, clarity, and inner peace naturally arise in response to life's challenges. This integration of emotional mastery into everyday life not only enhances your personal well-being but also deepens your connection to the divine, allowing you to move through the world with a sense of purpose, presence, and spiritual alignment.